Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Everyone's talking about it. Is it good? Is it bad? I personally don't know, but I want to find out, so let's see.
As many of you know, the next big title to come out is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This game is already much acclaimed, and most people in the RPG scene are looking forward to it a great deal. And I am too, in a sense, but unlike a lot of people, I'm probably not going to play it. And for me, Kingdom Come Deliverance, or for that matter,
People are saying that Warhorse is currently a super good base dev that cares about gamers and whatnot. Don't know about that. Don't know anything. I hope it's true because that would be awesome.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of those amazing RPGs that I probably just can't get into. That's what I want to talk about today. You see, there exists a plethora of games that I consider very good based on all the reports, based on observing people playing it, etc., that I respect beyond all measure. Games that I think are just very, very high quality, but ultimately are probably not for me. There are many examples of this, of course. You have Elden Ring, Dark Souls. Those are not really my type of games. Games such as Space Marine 2, which by all accounts is an incredible game. And even games like Marvel Rivals, which
I mean, the cinematics are kind of looking pretty good, not gonna lie, for all of this. And the fact that this is gonna be an RPG, good, good. A medieval role-playing simulator. I cannot wait to contract herpes. That sounds amazing. And if I can't, I will actually legitimately be disappointed because you can't have medieval times without these issues, okay? And currently, I don't know, looks pretty okay. If this was a Bethesda game, I would have already stopped 15 times and said this looks shit. There's this wrong, there's this wrong. But this looks good. This looks kind of fine. This looks interesting.
Recently burst out onto the scene, which by all accounts, again, is very, very good. But at the end of the day, none of these games are really my genre. But then you have the nitty-gritty details of what a genre is and what a genre means to you. Because if you look at Kingdom Come Deliverance, or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I would say it sort of is my genre. I like medieval settings a lot. In fact, the European Middle Ages are probably my favorite epoch in history, full stop. And as a student many winters ago, I spent a fair bit of time studying the Middle Ages. But even the European Middle Ages as a time period represents a pretty broad period of time, because the Middle Ages technically start around maybe 600 AD and end technically somewhere around 1500. And so you have almost 1,000 years to play with. Now, my interest in the Middle Ages...
Oh, that's not even remotely close to the history of the Middle Ages. You need to understand it. For example, Americans watching this have no idea what the Middle Ages are, because America didn't have the Middle Ages, okay? You were still European back in those days. Every country pretty much had a slightly different Middle Age. It was different from the culture, from the stuff that was being done. Sure, there were overlapping things like fiefdoms, barons, and all of that shit and whatnot. But it was very different. Every country, every region had something different going on in the Middle Ages. So stuff does get very, very wild in the possibilities.
Was primarily in the early period of the Middle Ages, so roughly 600 to 1100, give or take. Nonetheless, late Middle Ages is an interesting period of time, and that is the time period in which Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 takes place. But the late European Middle Ages is nonetheless an interesting historical setting for me. Not as interesting as, say, the early Middle Ages or the Dark Ages as it used to be called, but still interesting. And you have swords and maces and axes and crossbows this time, and armor, and all the things that make the medieval period very interesting for a lot of people, including myself. So you might ask me, what's my problem with Kingdom Come Deliverance? I don't really have a problem. As you can see, I played a little bit, about 20 hours in total, and I might give it a go.
I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was something I heard about 2-3 years ago. That the combat was really hard, and that it was effectively a super medieval simulator in a lot of ways. The combat was hard and punishing, and a lot of things of that nature. So is this Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? I'm completely not sure.
Go again at some point in time. But for me, the hook that I almost require, I won't say require because I'm not sure, but almost require, is some element of the fantastical. Some element of magic, if you want to call it that. Something that is just not the run-of-the-mill, something that is not reality-bound. And based on all the evidence, Kingdom Come Deliverance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 are historical RPGs. Epics, if you will, but historical RPGs that are set in a place that does not have these features of the fantastical, of the supernatural, of the magical.
Okay.
And I don't even need a lot of that. You know, in traditional fantasy settings, you have different levels of magic. You have low magic settings, you have medium magic settings, high magic settings. I would even go so far as to say that I prefer low magic settings. If you look at the bulk of work of Game of Thrones prior to the show.
Yeah, so he's talking about, not Game of Thrones is gay, okay? Stop. Game of Thrones is dead. George R.R. Martin is a fat commie loser, and let's just talk about Tolkien, because that's a man, not some kind of pitiful worm-like excuse like the other one. Ugh. Absolutely disgraceful, disgusting, unappealing, and pussy-like. Disgusting. Anyway, low magic settings is like Gandalf doing things, but you don't even know he's doing magic most of the times. That's kinda it. High fantasy is, oh, look at that, there's our everyday dragon flying by and eating a sheep, and that's normal. And a medium is like, oh, wow, you accidentally created a spell, who knew?
Oh, mind you, the books. That is very much a low magic setting. But there exists nonetheless.
Dude, I like the violence against the peasantry class, okay? First of all, they deserve it. Can't fucking pay your taxes. Disgusting. Obviously. Second of all, if it's supposed to, again, be the medieval times, you are supposed to have shit on the streets. You are supposed to be able to just bash a peasant's skull in because reasons.
Some degree of magic in the setting. And so, whilst I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a turn-off, the lack of the fantastical serves to attract points of interest in a game for me because I kind of need that. Now, there might be exceptions here. For example, if this game were set in the early Middle Ages, in, I don't know, the year 600, 700, 800, then I would find it very interesting to play, potentially. I'm not against realistic fiction, principally, and I'm not even against realistic RPGs. So a dream game, for me, would be something like a game set at the time just prior to Charlemagne or something like that, in the Frankish Kingdom, or perhaps a game set in England at the time of Alfred the Great or something along those lines. Something that would really tickle my interest because of my
I don't even know who Alfred the Great is in England.
Specific background in history. That said, I'm still theoretically open to the idea of playing Kingdom Come Deliverance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I really want to praise the efforts of the developers here because I've seen what they've been doing and they've made it very clear that this game is meant to be cool, fun, and enjoyable.
Nice.
Because, as many of you know, there are a lot of games these days, AAA games, whose sole intention is not to create a fun experience, to not entertain you, to not get you caught up in the story, but rather to preach, project, and ramble on about politics and what you should think and what you shouldn't think. That is...
Yeah, I mean, look at this, what we have seen. The fact that there's a peasant on the ground and he's getting brutally killed because, why honestly not? Yeah, that's pretty much just concentrating on other things than just messaging DEI and wokeness. And as people pointed out it in a couple of videos ago, the makers of this game are from Czechia, which is fine. Even though on your average day as a European, I'm pretty much spitting in any Czech child face if I can. But in this case, pretty good. Not gonna even complain that it's a Czech thing. In any case, yeah, not bad. Currently, I'm seeing no red flags, no nothing.
Is anathema to me, as I am sure it is anathema to many of you. And the developers at Warhorse have given us literally no sign that this game is going to be anything
February the 4th, eh? That's pretty interesting.
Like that. So I fully expect a fun experience. I fully expect an upgrade from Kingdom Come Deliverance. They've added new things, like I said, the crossbows. We know that an early form of firearms is in the game, and if I had to guess, there'll be other forms.
Yeah, I saw that. There was the guy running to the castle when the drawbridge is raised. It looked like he got shot, and there was some other thing. But were early firearms actually in the Middle Ages of Europe? They got invented by the Chinese on accident. I am not sure about that at all. I don't know, but when did firearms appear in Europe? Let's see. Oh shit! It's the 14th century is not the one that I'm thinking about. Yeah, but around the 14th century, but this is earlier than the 14th century, isn't it? Interesting. Well, again, it's a big time period, but I guess the 14th century would still... No, it doesn't even fit. I'm confused.
The combat that are somewhat new to differentiate it from Kingdom Come Deliverance, the predecessor. And I think it's totally fair to not like every RPG that's coming out. Now, people are different, obviously, and I know people that play literally every type of game in terms of genre, in terms of type. And that's absolutely fine, and I respect that. But there are also people like me, and like other people I happen to know, who like RPGs a lot. That is our primary principal genre that we play in terms of video games. But we like to play specific types of RPGs. I think setting is really crucial.
Yeah, I mean, again, Middle Ages without this? No. And again, this is what is selling me that this game could be pretty good, just on its own. Because again, you can't have anything that's influenced by DEI or wokeness being, oh, a peasant is gonna be hit and abused on a regular basis. That's not happening, okay?
I think setting is really crucial. A lot of people are inclined to
Look at that! The guy got stabbed in the gut. That didn't even kill him! He's just bleeding out in pain!
Play the value of setting in terms of making a game attractive. For example, the classic here, I think, is Baldur's Gate 3. Absolutely fantastic game. Most people agree with that. It is one of my favorites of all time. But I think for many people, myself included, one of the key components and factors that made this game so good for me was the simple fact that it took place in the Forgotten Realms. Now, for those of you who don't know, I got this channel off the ground talking about Forgotten Realms lore in the run-up to Baldur's Gate 3, which was helpful to the channel, obviously. But I had spent a long time playing D&D campaigns in the Forgotten Realms, reading tons of novels, and have basically been steeped in the Forgotten Realms since 1987. Now, there are other settings in D&D, and I think actually some of these settings are better than the Forgotten Realms, but in terms of lore, in terms of expansiveness, Forgotten Realms obviously takes the cake.
Is this just gonna be a game about you being a knight and then you need to conquer kingdoms or something like that? Because that sounds pretty good, not gonna lie. And then your king like turns out to be an asshole and you're like, well, you know what? A little bit of coup d'etat never hurt anyone. Or coup de grace in this case. Who fucking knows? I'm not French. Anyway, that seems pretty nice, pretty decent, pretty interesting, even one might say. I kind of like that idea. I really, really do.
And so I saw that and thought, wow.
Now, if we're talking about the Middle Ages and shit, combat should be absolutely insane, and the diplomacy options actually, well, if this is high fantasy, that means, well, if this is an epic fantasy game, then everything's gonna be over exaggerated, because in the Middle Ages this was how things happened. Okay, we're gonna fucking go here and kill these people because they didn't pay enough taxes. Okay, they paid taxes, but they didn't pay enough taxes. I'm pissed. Someone looked at the wrong way at my horse's ass last time I was there, so we're going in, boys. which is a legit thing that kind of happened often, by the way, in the medieval ages, but that's fine. Okay? So you get an army, and you're supposed to siege, like, a place, a town, a whatever. And this is how some battles went. The town's here, the siege is here, someone from the siege goes to the town, knocks on the door, says, "Hey, yo, what's up, buddy? No one's really here to save you. We can just starve you out in 3 months. If in 3 weeks no one comes, you surrender and no one gets killed. And if in 3 weeks someone comes, we surrender. How about that for a deal?" And they took it. Because every side knew that actually fighting would be stupid, even though they did that a lot anyway. But in siege situations, yeah, that was common. Like, okay, we're just gonna chill here now for 3 weeks. If no reinforcements come, then they just surrender because they don't want to die and they're gonna be starved out, and they know that they're dead if they try to survive, and they gain nothing. And there you go. That's a lot of the battles.
Another game set in this amazing world. I can't wait to get into that. And that's true of a lot of settings. Conversely, you have a game such as Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, which I think is a very good game, and I'm halfway through. I'm taking a break, an extended break, plan on getting back to it. But it takes place in the Warhammer 40k universe, which is an ultra-depressing, grim, dark, dystopian version of our own world.
Well, to be fair, not really that much more depressing and dystopian than the Middle Ages.
That I don't quite fancy as much as other settings. And so that serves a bit as a detractor to me in terms of generating interest. And I'm sure a lot of that applies to you as well. So for example, another series that I acknowledge to be very good is the Red Dead Redemption series. And by observation...
Okay, that's different, though. Well, in any case, I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of interested in this. Is this going to be something I play? Probably not, considering I didn't play the first one. But this does seem good. Let's actually look at some statistics. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 Steam DB. Let's see what we see here. Whoa! How long has it been out since? Oh, it has been out since 2018. Wow, very cool. Very cool, said absolutely no one. Okay, wait, gonna share the screen. Second, boys, second. Kingdom Come Deliverance, there we go. Look at this. This is when it released. The 100 peak players. Admittedly, February, March, April. Yeah, it fell off, but man, I mean, look at this. It's still averaging like 4 to 5k people when it was not high. 3 weekends helped a little bit, it seems like. Wow. Interesting. And now everything's probably hyped around it being released. Like, look at that, in the past 6 years. 27k. What is this? Fanatical Diamond Collection RPG Fantasy, build your own whatever. Free weekend. Yeah, people are getting excited for some reason. People are getting real excited for this. What is happening? Pretty cool. Look at that. 144k reviews, 82% positive. That is pretty good. Now, it's not amazing, because amazing is 90% plus. But that is extremely good. These numbers, I don't think they're lying, boys. I think this is definitely a good game, probably. 226 in top sellers currently. That's also pretty decent. Twitch stats, look at that. All-time peak 200. How did I miss this? 7 years ago. Oh, that's how I probably missed this. Because I was a true gamer back then 7 years ago, and I just played games constantly. Now I do 50-50. 24-hour peak, also 15k. That is good. Okay, judging from these statistics, I would say Kingdom Come Deliverance, pretty good. 10 out of 10, honestly. Okay, in any case, that was Spell and Shield, 10 out of 10. Bye.